A March road rage arrest in Scottsbluff leads to prison time for a Colorado man. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News, powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, a 35-year-old Colorado man convicted on nearly a dozen charges after he allegedly flashed a handgun at motorists in March has been sentenced to prison. Scottsville police say Eric Jones was taken into custody after a search and a brief foot chase near the intersection of Highway 26 and Avenue I. Jones pleaded no contest to 11 charges, including attempted use of a firearm to commit a felony and terroristic threats. On Monday, Scottsville County District Court's Judge Andrea Miller sentenced Jones to a total of 24 to 48 months in prison. He did receive credit for 175 days already served. Well, a 35-year-old Scottsbluff man caught with more than an ounce of methamphetamine following a February traffic stop will be spending a minimum of 3 years in prison. Eric Escalera had been facing charges including possession of meth and fentanyl with intent to distribute, as well as possession of cocaine. Earlier this month in district court, he pleaded no contest to a Class 1D felony charge of possession of meth with intent to distribute. As part of the plea deal, he will also forfeit the 2010 Nissan Maxima he was driving at the time of the traffic stop. Prosecutors also agreed not to file charges from a February controlled buy. He'll learn how long his prison sentence is when he's back in court on October 27th in front of District Judge Andrea Miller. And an Alliance man who was the target of a Wing Drug Task Force investigation has pleaded no contest to amended charges. In 2020, a CI working for the Wing Drug Task Force purchased 2 grams of meth during a controlled buy from 25-year-old Moses Dawn. Earlier this year, Scottsville police saw Dawn driving on 5th Avenue and arrested him on a warrant, charging him with distribution of a controlled substance. Earlier this summer, he pleaded no contest to a charge of attempted distribution of an exceptionally hazardous drug and will be back in court on September 14th for sentencing with District Judge Leo Dobrovony. We'll have more news right after this.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
Jason Jorgensen with you. It is time for another season of Husker Chat as we break down Nebraska football. As always, we're joined by Sean Callahan, the publisher of Husker Online. Here we go, Sean. It's been an interesting offseason, an interesting fall camp, and the Huskers finally kick off the season on Thursday night at Minnesota.
Yeah, we're back. It feels like it's been a long 9 months, Jason, to get to this point since the hiring of Matt Rule. But here we are, and no better than a bigger stage than this. Thursday night, national television for Nebraska football on Fox. We're going to find out a lot about this team right away.
All right, as you look at this, and you have been through plenty of these over the years, what do you make of this fall camp they were able to get accomplished, and where are they at going into this game with the Gophers?
Well, it was different than any other fall camp I've been a part of. Let's start just with the dorms. I mean, the team lived on campus for 2 weeks, but even the third week where they were out of the dorms during camp, there was mandatory curfews where the coaches checked every night to make sure players made bed checks even at their own personal home. So it was locked down. But the main thing is I think Rule wanted this team to be together, get to know each other, paired up guys as roommates that probably never would talk to each other otherwise. But they you had offensive guys, limited defensive guys, and just all sorts of things to kind of bring this team together. Activities outside of football. They did a lot of things, like they went and saw a musical, Hamilton. They went to a women's soccer game. They went to a water park. But then the developmental emphasis, Jason, on the practices. We saw Nebraska for the first 3 days have 2 separate practices. The first 60 kids were with the coaches, and then the newcomers and some of the lower 60 players had their own separate practice with the same coaching staff. So there was quite an emphasis on repping guys, developing players, and I think that's music to a lot of Husker fans' ears.
Today we're talking with Sean Callahan of Husker Online with our Husker Chat segment. I know it's early. They've not played a game yet. They've not lost a game yet. But what's impressed you the most about Coach Rule? To me, he seems like he's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, just his attention to detail, his eyes on the ball at all times, and every element. I mean, from what the players are saying to the media, to what they're eating for lunch, to how they're running plays in practice. I mean, not much gets by Matt Rule. And if he doesn't like something, he's going to let you know. And I think everyone that works for him kind of has this, sense of urgency about how they operate, because they know Matt Rule's watching. And if they do something wrong, he's going to be right on them. And so there's just this kind of this 4th and 1 mentality with everybody around there. And it starts with the head man, Matt Rule, who, I've never seen a head coach at Nebraska this involved in every single element of the program and what this team is doing.
Okay, here's a big question. We will know more about this on Thursday night, but how good is this team? How good do you think this team could be?
I think on defense, they have some pieces. I really do think when you look at the unit, I mean, just look at the single-digit voting, and those are the most respected guys on the team. 8 of the 10 guys in single-digit jerseys are on defense. You got 2 D linemen, 3 linebackers, and 3 guys in the secondary. So that right there tells you there's a lot of guys that are veterans, that are respected players, that are 4th, 5th, and even 6-year players on the back end. So I'm optimistic about that group. I'm optimistic they got a great punter. I think the kicking play will be improved from a year ago. But yeah, I think offense is where my questions are today. What will this unit look like? Do they have enough on the offensive line? Can they play better on the offensive line? Do they have enough at receiver? When you look at all the guys they've lost, and then Marcus Washington was out for a better part of camp, Xavier Betts left the team. There are a lot of holes, a lot of questions with this wide receiver room. That can they be a serviceable enough unit to get it done in a league like the Big Ten?
What's your thoughts on Jeff Sims? Certainly there's some talent there, but he's done some good things in his career, but certainly he's got to find a way to cut down on the turnovers. But it sounds like that wasn't all his fault either.
Yeah, physically, he's as big of a quarterback as you'll see at Nebraska. 6'4", in the 220s, probably runs a 4.5-ish to 4.6 40. So he's an accomplished runner with physical size, but he's got NFL arm ability. I think the key is not making it where he does too much. We've seen that where the quarterback in Nebraska has been forced to do too much over the years, and that's a recipe for turnovers. The other things around Jeff Sims need to be there: the protection, the running game, the receiver play, the tight end play. All of those things matter, but I do think they've got an upgrade at quarterback for sure than what they had a year ago. I just think Jeff Sims gives Nebraska so much more, both as a thrower and a runner, than what Casey Thompson was a year ago. But on the flip side, Casey Thompson had a guy like Trey Palmer that was kind of the ultimate bailout, where they could throw it deep and always kind of find that big play.
How about the running back situation? You surprised Anthony Grant isn't the starter?
A little bit, because I think on just pure ability, it's hard not to argue he's the best guy they have, but it's more than just running the ball. There's other things that, go into plays like blocking and route running and just other things that happen off the field, I think, that have played a factor. But you look at Gabe Ervin, he won the job in 2021. He was the first true freshman in Nebraska's program history to start a season opener. But he got hurt that year, and his experience is extremely limited. He's never had more, Jason, than 12 carries in a game. He's never had more than 60 yards rushing in a game. I would like to think he's going to have higher numbers on both those totals against Minnesota on Thursday. So we're going to get a really good taste. My question is, will there be an established rotation? Will we see Anthony Grant at all built into this game plan? Are they going to really try to ride out Gabe Ervin Jr., then use kind of Ramir Johnson as that third down option?
How about the Gophers, PJ Fleck? You know, you can criticize him all you want about being a little goofy and just eccentric sometimes, but this guy's established a culture. He knows how they want to win, and he's had great success against the Huskers.
Yeah, I mean, Nebraska's only last win against PJ Fleck, and I believe their only win against him as a head coach was 2018, and Scott Frost's first season. There have been most of the time where Nebraska's either been favored or had the more talented team, and his teams have beaten Nebraska. I go back to 2020. They came into Lincoln with really 40 players, maybe 50, and beat Nebraska. And that was a game the Huskers were 2 touchdown favorites in, and the Gophers were coming off of COVID, where they had been shut down for the previous few weeks. So he, for whatever reason, has been able to get his teams motivated to play Nebraska. I think he gets motivated to play Nebraska because everybody always refers to Nebraska as the better program because of its history and resources they have compared to, say, Minnesota. But he's had their number, and he has established a way to win there. It's different than how he won at Western Michigan. When he was the head coach of Western Michigan, they went to the Cotton Bowl, and they threw it more. But at Minnesota, he slows the game down, limits the possessions. They always have a great running game, and they play physical line of scrimmage defense.
All right. Hey, it's going to be fun to see it started. You have a safe trip to the Twin Cities, and hopefully we see a great performance in Game 1 for the Huskers under Matt Rule.
Hey, thank you, Jason. Have a great Labor Day. Looking forward to next week as we get ready for Colorado. But should be a great weekend. A lot of Nebraska fans, I think, will make this trip up to Minneapolis to see this game on Thursday night.
All right, there you have the thoughts. Sean Callahan of Husker Online joining us for Husker Chat. We will be here every week throughout the year. For Sean, this is Jason Jorgensen saying thanks for joining us for Husker Chat.
At Renewal by Andersen, they make the best windows and patio doors you can get. But they've also set the gold standard for service. At Renewal by Andersen, their signature service is second to none.
It's old school quality. This type of service doesn't exist outside of Renewal.
Renewal by Andersen's signature service, trust, respect, care. Renewal by Andersen. You'll be delighted like so many others are. Visit rbawyoming.com now to book your free estimate.
Morrill County Community Hospital and the behavioral health providers are here to help. Amber Dean specializes in mental health care, which includes medication and therapy across a person's lifespan. Melody Lacey helps people deal with a wide range of behavioral problems, from depression and anxiety to child psychiatry. Our dedicated team is committed to you and our community every time. At Morrill County Community Hospital, Bridgeport, Nebraska. Exceptional care right here at home.
Now, sports from the FNBO Sports Desk. FNBO, the great big small bank.
A casual Thursday here at the Sports Desk. Yesterday, though, volleyball day in Nebraska. Welcome in to today's update. And wow, what a night it was for women's sports, Husker volleyball, and athletics as a whole, and the state. An all-time record crowd for a women's sporting event of 92,003 people in attendance watching Nebraska sweep Omaha inside Memorial Stadium. Nebraska, well, they might be number 4 in the current national poll, but last night they showed they just might be number 1 worldwide when it comes to the sport.
Yeah, it's a magical night, and you know the people that really deserve credit are Trev, President Carter, and the governor who really pushed this. And I told Trev, I go, this doesn't happen unless you said it was going to happen, because I was, doubtful that it would work and we would get a big crowd. and here we are. And credit to the teams and from Nebraska that got to participate in this. It'll be something they'll remember for the rest of their lives. Our players, it's just been a roller coaster day for them with all the things we've been doing and the interviews and the pep rally and trying to prepare for a match. I thought they did a really nice job of managing the event and the moments and the scope of this whole thing.
Just such an event and prideful night for all Nebraskans. It felt like, got the chills watching the team come out during the tunnel walk. Oh yeah, Husker football on tap. They're starting the Matt Rule era tonight with a road game at Minnesota. We'll get our eyes on that new 3-3-5 defensive look tonight as the Black Shirts look to leave a mark early this season at the Gophers.
When I think about, and I'm obviously not a Nebraska man by born and raised, but when I think about the Black Shirt, it's the way that they played. It's the decimating, demolishing, vicious defense. It's just hitting the other team over and over. It's just the great defenses that have been here. And so whoever's going to go out and represent us, to me, the Black Shirt it's not just, hey, I've achieved this. It's I'm part of a legacy and I have to live up to it, and then I have to uphold it for the future. And so we want our guys to always understand when we talk about the past here that there's a legacy that we have to learn from, and then there's a legacy that we have to leave going beyond us. And so whoever is going to step up and be a starter for us on defense will wear the Black Shirt that week, and they have to play to that standard if they want to start for us.
Pre-game will start today on KNEB at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Kickoff tonight at 6. Nebraska currently a 7.5-point underdog. And, of course, high school football tomorrow, a pair of really big games for us on the Rural Radio Network. The 1-0 Scottsbluff Bearcats are up against an angry North Platte team that feels they should be 2-0. Instead, they're 0-2 after a loss to Grand Island last week. North Platte, they're averaging over 380 yards rushing through 2 games. That's over 380 per game through 2. Scottsbluff, well, they did their normal thing on the ground last week, running for over 340 yards. This one has all the makings of a real slugfest tomorrow night. We'll be on the trail with it at 5:30 Mountain Time. The 1-0 Gering Bulldogs, they're home tomorrow, home opener to play 1-0 Chadron. Gering head coach Danny O'Boyle told me yesterday that this game will go a long way in determining how the rest of their season might shake out for the Bulldogs. Chadron's Quinn Bailey ran for 4 touchdowns and over 250 yards last week in a blowout win for Chadron over Gordon Rushville. Limiting explosive plays and penalties, a couple of the keys for Gering coming up tomorrow night. Home opener for the Dogs. We'll have it with Jeff Kelly on KMOR 93.3 starting with pregame at 6:30. That'll do it for today's update from right here at the FNBO Sports Desk. I'm Chris Cottrell.
Culture trumps everything else.
In my years, I've never worked for a company that treats people the way this one does.
It is my passion for agriculture that brought me here in the first place, but not only that, there's a huge family-oriented atmosphere within the 21st Century Equipment.
I love working for 21st. They found something in me that I didn't know in myself. An intern to where I'm at now is such a great opportunity, and that is what this company is about.
Let's take a look at your community calendar, brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, for the second straight year, the United Way of Western Nebraska is looking to raise $400,000 for their annual campaign. This year's theme is United We Give, United We Live, and will support more than 24 agencies throughout the region. The 2023-2024 campaign chairs are Kirsten Richards, Monica Shamba, and Dr. Sam Mark. Richards says she's fairly new to the United Way board and is excited to help tie in the Southern Panhandle to the United Way's outreach.
I'm from Sydney and we don't really have a presence there yet, so we're really building on that, and I'm excited about that because we have a lot of the agencies over there that United Way helps and gets involved in, and people in Sydney have been very responsive actually and are excited to have United Way there.
During a kickoff luncheon Wednesday, Capstone Child Advocacy Center was presented with the inaugural Partner Agency of the Year award, while Box Butte General Hospital was honored as the Pace Center Business Partner of the Year. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.